continue recording this because that way Emily can watch the rest. But and it's a shame that she missed out on the first part, but that's okay. We've already talked about it on our little co-work the other morning, but I will be making sure to kind of make more things bite-sized. So like as we take the next step, you're gonna get this piece. As we take the next step, you're gonna get this piece, okay? So if there's ever a time where you're like, wait, what are we doing again? Ask questions. Ask me, poke me, tell me that you need more from me, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to be doing, is making sure that you all have everything you need to feel clear and to feel comfortable and to feel confident. So I will be trying to break it down and, staying on top of that. But if I do slip and y'all, need to catch me, then please do. Any other questions to start? No? Okay, good. Okay, cool. So let's get into intros. Y'all know me, but I would love to give you like a, I don't know, I guess a quick bio of who I believe I am. My name is Kellyanne. I live in Lake Worth, Florida, part-time in Hollywood, Florida. I am 31. I go by the pronouns she, her, and I have been facing challenges on purpose my whole life. I just recently found out it was to mask that I had ADHD, and I'm upheaving a lot of traumas and healing right now, which really helps me to connect with my clients. I see myself as an inner unfolding guide, and I hold space through workshops, events, as well as private card readings and mediumship readings. And one of my favorite ways to show up is through humor. Through humor and silly and laughing. Like that's always the point that I want to get to know that I got there. That's always my indication that I got there to the right spot. The sweet spot is when I can laugh about it. And that's always my intention behind everything, is to just get to a place where I can feel light about it and also honor it. Because I think laughing through the pain can sometimes be very rewarding. I am a Pisces sun, also Pisces Mercury. So my communication style may be all over the place. And if that happens, then again, please just like, you lost me at whatever, reel it in, Kellyanne. Like you're very welcome to say, I'm lost, if that happens. I'm a Leo rising and Leo and Jupiter. So a lot of growing in my life has happened through showing up and leading and loyalty, which I feel like this is kind of one of my places here. And I am a Virgo moon. So I know I wanted to do sun, moon, and rise, but I've got a few shared there. I love you all, and whoever would like to go next, you are welcome to do so.
I am Gary. I'm originally from New York City. I grew up there. I've lived in several different places. I met Kellyanne in Miami, actually, where I am currently located. Most recently, I'm doing van life, but here I am for a year to recoup and such, save up and such. I come from the Francois clan of Haiti. That's where my dad is from, and the Pan clan of Taiwan. That's where my mom is from. So I've lived a lot of life in duality, and in duality that no one ever helped me make sense of. I got teased on both sides for the other side. So it took, I think my whole life has been about understanding contradiction and duality and I'm trying to think of a simpler way to put it, but like how the two things together make the thing, right? Like I am two things together that make a thing. And you can't, and that when I was younger, people would ask me, you know, which do you feel more like? And it was a weird question, because I'm like, I can't, what do you mean? I can't choose one side of me. So wholeness has always been a really big theme, and I never knew that's what was going on because I felt so broken for so long. But when I discovered shadow work, is when I started being like, oh, there's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of things that have been cast in the dark. I used to be a real big scaredy cat of the dark, realizing because there's a lot of potential and power over there. And so since then, I call myself a facilitator, a lover, a social emotional strategist, a storyteller, all things that really describe my interest in humans. I think we're fascinating. I think we all are the textbook. We all have amazing stories to tell. I think our emotions are messengers, that we have been, I guess, alienated from understanding its messages. So my biggest goal in life is to help folks reconnect with their emotions, which often means inner child work, root chakra work, which I've been looking at inner child work as root chakra work lately, and that has been really cool. What else? I'm also a lover of all things ugly. I think all the things that are hated and ugly are that for a reason. I think a lot of demons are demonized, right? And so I feel like I'm all about restoring perspective, a wider perspective, so that we can, you know, yeah, I think as we expand our capacity for ourselves and just to process things, just as you can hold things to be bad and still hold it, you know, it expands you, and then you can do more with that. So yeah, watch me. Oh, and my pronouns are they, them, and daddy sometimes if you're feeling froggy with an I.
Gary, what are your sun, moon, and rising?
Yes, I am a Scorpio sun, a Leo moon, and a Virgo rising.
Beautiful, thank you. Hi, so if this gets too windy, just let me know and I'll do my intro inside. Anyway, so I'm Chelsea. I'm hearing an echo, so I'm speaking slowly so I don't get distracted. I am a double Leo, sun and moon, and a Libra rising with a stellium in Virgo and a stellium in Capricorn, and a stellium in Leo. So I am an empowerment coach, an intuitive magical coach. I'm an astrologer. I do tarot and card readings, and I'm a healer. I use inner child work also in my background. I went through the 12-step program of adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families, and I bring that into my work, a lot of family of origin healing in my personal therapy and background as an intro to my healing journey. And also very much pleasure, self-love, embodiment, specifically like through Mama Gina has been a big influence in my healing as well. So I also do a lot of boundary work, shadow work, in terms of my coaching and my training in that area. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited about all of this. I'm excited to meet all of you. Both of you seem awesome already. I'm excited. So yeah, did I miss anything? Okay, cool.
Okay, I guess that's me. I'm Hava. I'm Philadelphia based, born and raised, left a couple of times for school, came back. I went to school to be a chiropractor. So I practice, I have a mobile practice here, no office. I use my table, me and my table on the road in Philadelphia area. And I also feel really compelled to do the other side because I, similar to Gary, I'm really focused on wholeness and well-being as a whole totality and not just a piece. So I have a community called The Right Echo, and it's a couple years old. It's about 3 years old at this point, but it's a guided journaling workshop premise. So for me, as a chiropractor, seeing so much physical pain, I know the power of processing and the power we have if we process. And so I like to help on the back. The first thing that usually triggers physical is the emotional, mental, and spiritual world. So I like to help people on that side to hope that they will never have physical ailment. You know, that's the goal, right? To never physically feel the wounds that they might have experienced or not processed through, because all of that is just sitting stagnant energy. And so my similar to Kellyanne also, in the sense of I always am trying to clarify my purpose. And so as of late, because it'll probably change at some point, but as of late, my calling and all that I do is essentially I'm a creator of spaces of processing, whether that be physically through chiropractic, physically making room for people, or holding space intangibly to have a space to express and reflect and connect on that level through journaling and conversation. So I'm a chiropractor in that sense. I'm a guide in workshop and event space. I'm also a retreat host. I do retreats and a retreat facilitator. Yeah, and as of late, also shifting into bringing kind of all the connecting work together that I'm doing, and I'm actually touching into corporate and institutions a bit now, and bringing that into either is a workshop or maybe even pitching the ideas of creating retreats for these companies to help bring whatever their mission of a retreat might be, but also bring in the individual work that is just going to make a better workspace for everyone. So that's kind of where I'm shifting, really leaning into retreats to do all this on the full scale. So I'm also a self-trained chef, plant-based chef, which I cook for the retreats. So yeah, really it's all about the fullness, the whole scale healing. So we're going to break you open. We're going to talk about the things you don't talk about. You're going to have a crowd and community to reflect and bounce all that off of. And then we're going to seal it all up with some really medicinal high vibration food to help close and nourish all those things that we just broke open. And that's kind of the whole light of it. Yeah, I believe my gift is that I allow a space for people to feel seen, heard, safe, and empowered to release and express. So I do that in a way that I have a community to also support me in that, so I don't end up taking in everyone's things. I think that's all. I'm a triple Cancer. I'm a sun, moon, rising Cancer. I am, yeah. What else? I'm a Venus Leo. I'm a Mars Capricorn and a Mercury Leo. I think Leo. I gotta double check that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Leo. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's all I know.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It feels so good to like even just like it's I know what all of you do, and you know, to hear what each other does is great, but like for me to hear, you know, how you kind of encapsulate this like spiritual shadow work, magical goodness that I think we all, you know, that Venn diagram, like, you know, holds that kind of juiciness for all of us. That's really great. So thank you for sharing all of that. I'm so excited that y'all are here. We all have had relationships with Emily. So while she can't be here, we all are familiar with her. So I think that's at least maybe the one, you know, positive thing is that you all know her. So yeah, we'll just think about her and send her good vibes. I think she's with a friend right now who's visiting. So good vibes to Emily right now. And let's move into what brought you to want to do this course? What brought you to want to be a speaker in this course? What are you excited or enthusiastic about? And if you want to, come off mute and just share, then go for it.
Yeah, I'll go first. I love you, Kellyanne, and I see the power of your organizing skills. And I'm like, that is the one thing I'm like, yeah, I got none of that. I kind of am really watery in that way. I just kind of flow into things. So I have been calling in a team. That's one of the things, like a team and investors and mentors to help on the side of the things that I lack, or the things that I'm not that strong in, I should say. And so the excitement for me is like, I always work dolo, and I was excited just by the idea of creating something in a collective, but in a streamlined vision. So that was exciting for me. And also it not be my vision was also like refreshing, like in the sense of like, it's someone else's vision that it makes sense. So like, it's less pressure for me, which feels nice. Cause I'm always in that creative and plotting and planning. So I was like really refreshed to be like, I actually love and support Kellyanne. I believe in what she does. And I know that our vision in general aligns. So I'm excited to be a part of the vision, and to help that come to life. And simultaneously, a course is something that I've gone back and forth with about the idea of creating. So I always thought, well, this could be a really beautiful opportunity to be in a group creating a course and learn maybe if I want to do one other than this or not, or to be like, maybe this is it, maybe this is the course I've been thinking about that's now manifesting. So I'm excited because it's something that I've been in back and forth and not clear, and it'll be really cool to have a collective to help bounce ideas off of, and also like help actually build a course, because like that is very overwhelming for me. So I'm excited, very excited.
Cool. Love to hear it. And as we go, if there's anything that you want to poke and prod me about in like a mentorship capacity for creating a course, or organizing, structuring, just let me know. Here for it. Here for all the things, all the learning.
So I actually feel very similarly to Hava. I have been calling in community and tribes since we were dreamweaving, which, was a while ago. I was still living in New York at the time. And I've gotten different iterations of it. But recently, I've also realized I have a lot of control issues. And I'd be wanting to be this forefront of I want to collect the people and gather the people. But I've been really reflecting on how community, it is a practice, right? And it's like, it's different when you start a community and when you're part of one. And I feel like being at the root of a lot of, or being the source of a lot of community and holding so much space for people, it often leaves me like, so who's holding space for me? And then also people don't know how to hold space. The people that I'm holding space for definitely don't know how to hold space. That's kind of why they came to me. And so yeah, wanting to be able to surrender and like just be held in a space, appreciate. And also I love you, Kellyanne. I love the people that you know as well. Also, I was part of the Divine Chaos course and met Colin when he was going through that. I was like, what the, whoa. So, and then I think because I remember doing the course and I was going through my own thing. So I was like in it, out of it, in it, out of it. But I remember seeing Colin's whole thing blowing up and being like, what? I was there. So just like, I don't know, I think that's really powerful. I think you create such a space for magical things to happen. So I'm really excited about that. I am currently creating a course and running into a lot of like needing to talk it out because I live up here. So, oh yeah. Let me see. Because Colin was a teacher in the course. Are Colin's pronouns he or they? Do you know, Kellyanne? He? Okay. And he's an astrologer, a queer astrologist. And he had spoken about that And then I didn't know that I thought he was already famous prior to the course, but Kellyanne just said he blew up like in the middle of the course. And then I saw other people sharing his thing. I was like, I know that person. Wait a second. And then went to his profile and was like, wait a second. He was just here. So
he had like maybe 15,000 followers when I secured him as a speaker for the course, and then blew up to, I think, like 180,000 by the end of the course, just because it was like a Black Lives Matter, and he was really taking Black creators and giving them a platform and just being like, this is this amazing person, this amazing astrologer who's doing this, and this amazing person who's doing this, and like really just upholding all of these other people. So like, you know, his ability to render divine order and chaos in such a way that it uplifted, you know, the right people at the right time, just, you know, made him the star that he is now. And like, I don't even know how many followers he has now, but like he's on everything. So yeah, good on Colin.
Yeah, and also like I love just the way Colin speaks. I also remember listening to Lara speak, and just like, I don't know, I think the doubt crept in, because it's like, for you to speak to me means that you think that I'm on the caliber of teaching people in that way where I was touched by their teachings. So there was that moment, but it's like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been checking in more with like, yeah, it's true. So it's I don't know, I guess I've been going for healing that is experiential, right? Because healing actually happens in the experience, not just in the thoughts. And I feel like this experience is healing, showing up in a different way. I think it reworks a lot of things I've had about community, feeling like I didn't show up, feeling like accountability thing. So I don't know, giving myself a new chance. And like a really, really strong, setting myself up for some strong success too. And like my investment in it. So those are the big things. And also, oh yeah, I've done a lot of workshop spaces and a lot of like holding space, but I'm not often a lecturer. I'm not one that like, but I have a YouTube channel and people always are like, I just want to hear you talk. But then I'm always like, what do I talk about? So this is like a space to actually think about both, like turning a workshop and a speech into a thing together. Yeah.
Thank you both. Yeah, I love Colin. When Kellyanne told me that he had done the course, I was like, that is so cool. I was so excited. I'm such a little fangirl for him. Well, he just really inspired me in terms of, because he references a lot of people that I really have turned to and heard as powerful voices in the psychology industry. And with my personal background in that, I really related to that. And then the way that he incorporated astrology as a personal development tool and as an invitation for more internal reflection really resonates with me and inspires me in my own astrology journey. So I joined the course because I love Kellyanne, just like what you said, and I trust that this is amazing. The phrase divine chaos is something that has been magnetically energizing me and trying to tune in with what does that mean to me? How does that show up in my life? And again, like what you were saying, also for the opportunity for collaboration and just to be in a cool group of people, to reach new people, to get to be held accountable to put a workshop together and present it. Yeah, and then to meet all of you and just it was an easy yes.
Yeah, cool. I'm excited. I've helped with creating like lesson plans and workshops and just a lot of different kinds, like variations of facilitation. I've also read The Magic of Facilitation, which is such a good one. If you haven't read it, I can like share it with y'all. I don't know if I'll be able to email it to you, but I'll share it because it's just so great. But yeah, I'm very excited to, you know, guide y'all into holding the kind of space that feels really good for you. So with that said, would love to talk about the workshops and resources so we can get into our little brainstorm. The thing that I was telling Chelsea about, and I think Emily, about picking the workshop that you're going to do is having it be something that you just came out of, and whatever divine chaos you have just learned from in your life, or whatever maybe even you're going through now, that you're starting to tune into, like, this is a really big lesson for me, and here are some of the tools that I have used to help me to rebuild my foundation, so that I've helped myself strip away, or I've found these particular resources and tools that have helped me to strip away like the toxic elements of how I react to chaos in my life, or how I lean on and rely on order and control in my life. However, you've been stripping that away and replacing it with more love of and compassion for how you show up in more divine order, more trusting other people to be the ones to create the space so that you can just kind of float and do your own thing in the container, or how you are the one who decides to free dive into an experience and opportunity, and not knowing how it's going to turn out, but developing trust in that surrendered quality of, I'm just going to trust my intuition. I'm just going to go with my gut. Wherever you're at now, or whatever lesson you have just really been tuning into strongly, that's a really great place to create a workshop from. So I wanted to share with y'all the workshop topic and kind of subtitle that I've got working right now, which is Embracing the Void, How Not Knowing Can Be Your Liberation. Because not knowing what was going to happen after I left FedEx, not knowing what was going to happen after I left City Year, but having an inkling and having kind of that invisible golden thread pulling me was something that I wanted to trust in, and also I failed to trust in a lot. So I found myself out of insecurity and out of feeling unsafe to make more bold choices. I made a lot of safer choices that was kind of like a squirrel, you know, burying nuts all over the place. And instead of just like, you know, digging out my place in the hollow and filling it with my energy, I was moving from insecurity and moving from scarcity and moving from an untrusting relationship with surrender and with chaos. So embracing the void is something that I've just started to talk about again now that I've left another job that was consistent income for me, and now I have to trust, and suddenly I'm finding that I'm liberated by saying to the universe, I'm just going to ask you to show me all the opportunities for making money for me. And 24 hours later, I have 2 job offers. So like, this is the place where I'm at right now. This is the place where I've been coming from for the past couple of weeks. And that's why I've chosen it as my workshop topic, so that it can be something that I know I feel very strongly about. I'm coming from a very personal place that I can share with others. And I've gotten to the point where I can laugh about it. I've got resources and practices and tools, and I know how to create something that will help others feel supported. So the other kind of big thing about the Divine Chaos course is that this isn't just like you spend, you have your workshop, which is 1 hour with everybody, and you give your resource. It is you getting to give resources over the span of 6 months after this course, because I'm going to continue to follow up with people and make sure that I reach out to you all and say, do you have something, if you were focusing on how to, if you were actually focusing on divine order by way of releasing the toxicity of, needing to be in control, and you wanted to teach your workshop on divine order, or some divine neutral energy, or something in between, like, how are you showing up in the next, the rest of the year to support this? What kinds of things can other people dig into with you so that they can feel like there's not just this, like, here, try this thing, ta-da, and now there's no accountability, because we just said, okay, do your thing, Gary. Because like Chelsea said, we need accountability. We need to be able to have that other thread pulling us. Besides the thread of intuition, we need the thread of community and accountability to be pulling us and to help us feel like, if I walk this path, I'm not going to be doing it alone, and I'm not going to be doing it where if I fall and I scrape my knee, I'm going to stay down. Like, somebody's going to be there to help me get back up, or they're going to teach me the tools and resources that I need over time to keep picking myself up faster and better in a more healed way every time. So with that said, would love to hear if anybody has like a particular idea that they're stewing or brewing in, and would like to just speak it out loud and allow us to help you hone it. Just to reiterate everything, the workshop is a 30 to 40 minute lecture at the beginning, with engagement questions to help them either in the chat, or to help them in the chat as you go, to just kind of stay tuned to their own personalization of the message that you are giving. And then the last 20 to 30 minutes is, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want me to really reiterate another point and kind of dive deeper into it? And then at the end, you give, you might be able to give like an activity or a practice that we can do for the last like 5 minutes or 10 minutes that we are together, that illustrates the topic that you've chosen. And then your resource should 100% be something that is you. I expect Hava to do journaling prompts because that's what she does. Like, I want to, you don't have to do something that is outside of your comfort zone unless you want to stretch yourself, and unless that is something you want to be known for. But if you already feel like, for me, the vibrant voice chat, doing a WhatsApp chat made more sense than doing like emails, because this, and being told that my speaking voice is very calming and soothing and relaxing, feels like me, feels like part of my brand and part of my service and my offering. So your resource should also be a reflection of that. And I highly recommend tuning in to whatever has worked for you, because that is what is going to, ripple out into other people's understanding of your resource. I feel like I had something else to say. Oh, and I'm willing, if somebody wants me to use my Canva account to make the journaling prompts into a pretty PDF or anything else, just let me know. And I'm very willing and happy to help you maximize the quality of your resources. So again, space is open to workshop the workshops.
I have a quick question, and you might have mentioned this is the first course that's Divine Chaos, right? This is the first time you're doing Divine Chaos, or is this not the first?
This is the second time. So
Second.
the first time was in 2020 with
Okay.
Colin and with Lotta. Have you met?
Okay.
You haven't met Lotta, Hava.
Lara with R?
Yeah.
I know a Lara.
I was gonna
but
say
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah, it's
Lara bara una.
yeah, it's I'll send you some.
She's
of her-
Chicago based?
No,
Not the same Lara.
not the same Lotta.
Okay.
But yeah, 2020 was the first one. The first two iterations were Ignite Your Inner Goddess, and
Goddess,
then
right.
the last one was Divine
Okay.
Chaos. Yeah.
Okay. I guess it's something that's been coming up as of late where I've been is, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So I'll just talk it out because I'm not sure. But the lately where I've been is like I was sharing the emergence of like the 5D world-ish that I live in and that I talk and share, but merging that into the 3D so that actually money can be made. The possibility of a hefty amounts of money could be made so that when I'm doing my own retreat, workshops, events, there's no pressure on it for me. It's just to do it. It's not about ticket sales. It's not about, so the merging of how do I bring this down to the level of the world we live in? Because these people need it too, right? The corporate institutions, they need the same work. So the idea of, I guess the bigger scope of where I've been is like, how do I bring purpose and the passion to meet the prosperity and the funding to be able to keep my engine going so I'm not burnt out and like fatigued. And so that's something like I've been working through. So I don't know, maybe in a smaller scale, and it's something, I have some potential investor people in my circle / mentor, people who are really in that world, like the business and corporate world, who also speak the same language to some degree enough to understand my vision and support it. So I guess an idea, well, I'm just talking, but this is what I've been at lately mentally and what I've been working through, and like calling in mentors and investors and potential team members, or like building in more of the collective form and really just accessing the community and the collective instead of isolating and trying to figure it out on my own. And now it's gone somewhere else. But this is water sign stream of consciousness. So
do you mind if I jump in?
Yeah, that'd be good. Because also, just to wrap up, the last book I read that really has left imprint is How We Show Up by Mia Birdsong, which is all about community living and like the idea of it's a collective, although you need to take care of yourself if you're going to be able to take care of a community. And yeah, I just feel like it's kind of intertwining and everything. So yes.
Okay. What I'm hearing you say is that there's like a place that you want to get from kind of the 3D scarcity, like how do I get support? How do I make this happen? And then there's a desire to bridge it with the 5D of like, in my mind, it's done. In my mind, it's ready. In my mind, in this, my mind palace, it is complete and it is prosperous and it is passionate and it is purposeful. And that bridge is community, is surrounding yourself with people who see the vision, who have their own goals that align with yours and are doing the same kind of healing. So this is what I'm hearing, is that,
and not necessarily doing the same kind of healing, but understand the realm of healing that is yeah, like they're it's
Mhm.
not like foreign to them either. It's maybe
Right.
they're not doing the work. They may be doing it for themselves, but like maybe not everyone else in the space or workspaces are, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but yes, ultimately. And then one little anecdote that was shared with me that is like to the T, like I was like, you nailed it. And I didn't even know that was it. But the idea that for years I have provided value for others, and I'm at the point where it's time to provide value for myself.
Mm.
And for me, that means creating a different lifestyle, which is some of the value, so I can do the things without the pressure. So that concept of, I mean, it's, smaller pouring out and not filling. I am filling, but like the work I'm doing also has to really, really fill me. If I'm doing it, I'm getting to the burnout point. So that intertwined with the idea of I got to find bending what I do. I don't have to work for a space. Like I don't, I'm ranting now, I guess. I feel like I'm gone into a tangent, but I don't have to necessarily live the life of 9 to 5, but there is plenty of room in this world and plenty of money circulating that I can bend what I do to meet where the track of money is, so that I can come back to my community, no strings attached.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing another kind of thought forming here from this, which I think is more to the core of what you're speaking on, which is the isolation of giving, which is a toxic chaos quality, and something that women, femmes, and femme presenting people have done a lot throughout their lives, is just the giving, 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 with the hope that there is reciprocity. And we're learning that we need to switch to a healthy, it's kind of like entering water in dream weaving. You have to start to have a healthy relationship with receiving.
Yeah.
So like it sounds as though relationship to receiving could be the kind of primary topic, and then to speak on how it's very isolating to, just be giving, 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 and draining, isolating and draining to be giving all the time without having a healthy relationship to the reciprocity that we not only expect, but we deserve, as well as community. If we are getting into a better relationship with receiving, then we are getting into a better relationship with people who will reflect back to us all of the abundance and the prosperity and the strength that they see in us that is deserving of that reciprocity. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, I like that. I like hearing back what you're hearing. I'm also just reading the note. Oh, sorry. Yeah. There's definitely, I feel I'm leaning into, because it's in multiple places now that I'm thinking about it as you're reflecting. I'm like, oh yes, there's a space else outside of work where I have witnessed and processed through. I've been very recent, and this is like on a personal life level, living with a partner, right? Like we're creating space for ourselves, and not for the ending of the partnership, but for the sake of our, reasons, right? But in that reflection of processing through the fear of the switch of living situation and the transition, I realized how much, regardless if I'm aware of it or not, if I'm within living with someone, more specifically a partner, I can't help but to give. Like I'm not gonna not consider you. I'm not gonna not take care of myself first. Like I can't. It's either we or you. I don't do me first. And so I know that like, this will be good for me to be able to fully, right. So like, but this is, I guess it's like kind of mirroring the career thing, like the caretaking, nurturing piece of me that's innate. It's just a part of who I am. But yeah. Okay. Giving, receiving, this is feeling. Okay.
Love it. That's what, you know, we want to kind of get to, is a point where it is not just like it's affecting, I was going to say infecting, affecting one area of our lives, but possibly infecting several, you know, every area of our life. And there's no need, and I just want to like, you know, say this now, there's no need to figure out your workshop topic and subtitle and whatever, you know, the context now, but you know, this is just meant to like be sort of that feedback so that we can bounce ideas. Does anybody have anything that they want to share with Hava before we move on to the next person?
Yeah, I agree. I see what Gary said.
Yeah, I was gonna say what I was talking about with the circulation of currency specifically is like something I've struggled with is the people I want to work with probably won't pay me the way that I need to be paid just to survive. But then they're the ones that I want to help most. But then I feel a way about going over there to go get money over there. But when I think about actually, if somebody's hoarding their resources and I get to be over there to like open the gate, then as you were saying, change the flow of it. So you're and then you're also at the same time, because your presence is who it is, like you're talking about this healing journey just in these corporate people. I mean, it's weird to label people as corporate or whatever, but there is a certain energy that comes from being in corporate America that isn't like a spiritualpreneur. And so, yeah, just like opening them, like you're saying, I think also people who are going through their own healing journey in corporate get to think more about that as you also leave with the resources and redirect it where you want it to go. So it's like a exchange. It's a really powerful. And I think when I'm hearing about giving and receiving, it's about exchange. And a lot of the time exchange is off. We have a very strange relationship with exchange.
Right. And I guess, and just to add, and I agree and hear you, Gary. And to, for me, I know that I'm a chameleon. I'm able to walk into any room and I'm received. I am aware of that. So I know that like I can be in the corporate and still be received and the messages still hits, just as I can walk into, you know, a space of creatives who are just here to like collect, connect, and express, you know, like I'm pretty good at, I've always been that way. So yeah, I know like that's a power in the sense that the message will get across. So that's like important to me. I'm like, I know I can be received by them too, and they'll like be able to. So yes. Oh, here we go. So thank you.
Yeah. And also, like the art of showing up and doing it in a way that feels in an energetic alignment is what it sounds like, also because as you're clearing your channel to free yourself up from these shadow motives, right? Where when you're in need, you're attracting need. And so, but when you're full up to overflowing, you have more to give and more capacity to show up. And so it sounds like that was something that came up for me as I was listening, was really what could be cool, or some like how-tos of how to stay in alignment with that. That feels good for both you and your community.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, as you're opening and welcoming the receiving energy, because you've been giving from a clear space.
Right.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah. I appreciate all this. I have an idea. Like, oh, wait, we're getting somewhere. This feels good. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I'll go. So I'm gonna take this out because it's too distracting. Okay, so basically what I was kind of looking at is there's this concept in ACA, addiction to excitement, which was really kind of based around addiction to shame and fear, but was rebranded as addiction to excitement. So it could be maybe more palatable, because then we can see how we create chaos in our lives or stay addicted to the drama, based on what our capacity and tolerance for chaos was in our family of origin. And so I want to kind of honor that and then look at how to alchemically transmute that and allow the pain to become fuel for pleasure, how to clear out some of these like generational belief system and translate that into chaos magic somehow, right? And do maybe like a little ritual around it, or a tapping, like an EFT tapping on healing the addiction to excitement. But, and then also looking at, which I'll confirm with Emily that we're not overlapping, because we have overlapping in the astrology and the tapping stuff, but I know she'll have a whole other embodiment thing, because she's the queen of that. So, and I will look at also what's coming up for me though with the astrology of it. For me, actually, I find Pluto to be a really big influence in terms of transformational alchemy and divine chaos. And magic, again, also as the ruler of generational belief systems, family, karma, drama, and using like shadow as fuel for magic, shadow integration, embracing the void, like what you were talking about, Kellyanne. And Saturn kind of related to the art of showing up, like what we were just talking about, and consistently, and also even yeah, like you had said too, Kellyanne, about the divine order, releasing toxicity and the overdoing instead of like the simply being, that the action and achievement can support the intention. And then there are a couple other axes that intrigue me about this. The Pisces Virgo axis, the axis of service, I have definitely felt a lot of that channeling the 5D into the 3D in that realm. And then Virgo being like refining elegant systems that can help support this magic and mysticism that's wanting to come through in Pisces. And then also like with the Cancer Capricorn axis being the parental axis, the anima and animus for divine femme and divine masculine integration within for that alchemical intermarriage. And even Scorpio and Taurus, right, of the transmuting pain into pleasure, transmuting shadow magic, and again, like into the 3D, into your home life, into your physical body. So, and then also recognizing that the body holds trauma subconsciously. And so when we can do something somatic, we can heal that with a little more ritual around it, and that perhaps like the embodiment can support the ritual in that way as we're looking at how to set up divine order in our life as the container, right? Again, like some dream weaving magic of earth medicine holding the container for the water medicine of divine chaos. So that's all what's rolling around in there. And I cover like, there's a lot of different stuff. So hopefully that all feels consistent enough without going into like too many different directions. So yeah, I'm open to any feedback, please and thank you.
Yeah, I love the idea of taking something programmatic, like, addiction to excitement as like um, an understanding of how we develop a relationship to control via drama and via, engineering chaos within our lives, or choosing to create chaos as opposed to, surrendering to the chaos that's already within, creating chaos without so that we can distract ourselves from the chaos within. I really love the where you're going with that. And I think that's a really solid idea. I don't know that I have any notes on that other than my own reflection of like, cool, I can't wait to see where you go with that. As far as resource idea, it might be cool to do to create a cheat sheet. So like create them for all of the planets that you would have in your natal chart, and just like how chaos exists in each one, or what chaos might be affected there. And then do that again for like the 12 signs of like how the signs may experience chaos in their in their shadow, and also in their empowered versions, in their empowered selves. So those might be some like really good resources for people to tap into. And I love also the like somatic plus astrology side. So like if there is a way that, you even want to evolve the cheat sheet into just that, of like, if you're Pisces and if your Pisces and your Venus are lined up, then this is probably how it might be helpful to focus on like you said, maybe 2 planets like Pluto and Saturn, especially because the people around our age group are going through their Saturn returns at this time, or will be, or have just been. And also Pluto is a generational planet. So like our generation will resonate with even a message of like what's going on with Scorpio. So yeah, there's something cool there, that maybe there's a combination of like a sweet spot for a resource that would help the people who will be invested in more work around how to displace the creation of external drama, so that they can start to replace it with the acceptance of internal and divine chaos.
I really love that. Thank you so much. And also what came up for me when you were talking was this most recent transit of Pluto moving into Capricorn. And there's a Pluto return for all of America right now, which is very disruptive, but specifically our generation has Pluto in Scorpio. So we're very much the alchemizers. And so now for it to be in Capricorn, it is a lot of how are we going to move this divine chaos into divine order in a way that serves us.
And like for most of us, the generational planets are Pluto and Scorpio, and then Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn. So like we already as a generation have 2 Capricorn placements, and if our Pluto Scorpio energies are trying to figure out how to play well with that, and like you said, alchemize the divine order and the divine chaos so that they can start to play well with each other within us, that would be whatever inspires you as like a resource for that. Like if you want to workshop it any further through like WhatsApp voice messaging as we go, and this is every time I offer something to one person, it's for everybody. So if you want to continue workshopping your thing through WhatsApp voice messaging or anything, let me know. I'm great with words as well. So like if you have like a topic and you need help to like make it concise, like I'm here for you with that. That was a golden place that Lada and I went to with figuring her topic and title out. So Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Chelsea. Does anybody have anything that they want to give as a reflection for Chelsea?
I love it. Especially this addiction to chaos. I loved also what you were riffing off of, Kellyanne, and saying how that's like our attempt to control. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready for it. And I'm an 86 baby. So I pulled up the chart while you were talking about I was like, I know I'm a Pluto Scorpio, but I was like, I don't know about the other ones. So Uranus, you said, is a generational one? Yeah.
Uranus and Neptune, yeah. And then, but I
Neptune is Capricorn, but I'm in Sag for the other. So I don't know.
I was gonna say, I know Emily is older and she's kind of on that cusp where her Uranus, I think, is different as well.
Yeah, so, mine's Sag, so I don't know what that means, but I'll look into it. But I'm excited to learn from y'all too. So
yeah.
Yeah, and Emily had actually mentioned and reminded me that Uranus, as the disruptor, is also relevant to this conversation. So I really appreciate, and also the source of this like divine lightning bolt of inspiration, and that sometimes how we take action, inspired action, is part of the divine chaos. I mean, the part of how we channel divine chaos into order by taking inspired action on those cues. So I appreciate you mentioning that also, Kellyanne. And thank you both, Hava and Gary.
Yeah, cool. I was making a list of things. So the three big things that I've been processing lately, I ended a 6-year relationship in January. And it was because I lied, and I'm not typically a liar. So that's been the whole wrapping my mind around that. And like, who was I showing up as? Why was I showing up like that? Grief. So that has also been launched me into grief. I'm also currently studying to become a death doula, because I love death, and it's just an incredible, it's an incredible part of life. So death is a part of it. And then I was gonna say van life. Van life has been, van life has been a part of it. I don't know that I'm still processing that whole journey. So I don't know if that's where I would go there yet. But so yeah, it would be death and grief, and then family. So family is the other thing that's been really huge for me. And I wanted to talk about like faith and family. I was also thinking about religion. I was raised religious. I am no longer religious, but I am very spiritual and I love the universe and all that. But the topic of devotion and faith has come up a lot in my life lately. And so someone was actually recently asking me about how I moved through some of the hardest times in my life. And I realized all the hardest times had to do with family. My mom and I were best friends. She was a single mom. And so as I got older, that relationship really shifted and it like broke me apart. And then she had another kid and it was all messy, all this. It's been hectic with that man. But my mom is now actually finally putting down boundaries and changing her things. She's living with my father because he got a divorce after 8 years, and Haitians don't really do that. Like very very traditionalist. So he got a divorce. He's been in therapy for the past 2 years. He was going twice a week for a while. My mom is now in therapy. My brother is in therapy. And my mom, like I said, is moving into my dad's home because he now has a free space. So she's renting there. They've never lived together. Since I was born, they never lived together. So it's just astounding, really. And I think about there was a time where I really truly believed I was an orphan. I had metaphorically killed off my family from me because then nobody was showing up for me the way that I needed. And I had funerals for them and everything. And it's just crazy to see. I don't know, when you really and I've been thinking about divine chaos and how that fits into this too. I don't know, there's so many things we're told to prescribe to, like family. You have to uphold family and all this stuff, even when they're hurting you. But it was in releasing them entirely and releasing all the things about them that I was able to look at them as people. Then that's what launched me into inner child work, period. Just to understand the process of growing as a child and who the people are around you. And it was also, I don't know, I was driven very much by this inner faith that things could be, I've always just thought things could be different. Things could be a lot smoother. We could be a lot cooler. And that's why I'm thinking about faith. And it's only come up recently. I've been actually trying to record a video on YouTube every day for the next 100 days. And I took off a week because I was starting to talk about my family because I wanted to give appreciation, but realized that it was like really deep to talk about. But what I do want to talk about is the faith, and also like the cause and effect of it, because I had a belief from a long time ago, even when I killed them off, it was because I don't know, I was like, this doesn't work. What we're doing right now, no part of this works, and there's no part of it that is necessarily even salvageable. I think it all needs to die, decompose, and from the fertile soil, something new can come, but it's not gonna be from this shit that we got going on. Yeah, so I'm thinking about, I guess, the power of faith, and so with devotion that comes into it is like, I've been thinking about what goes deeper than our commitments, what goes deeper than our promises, and it's our devotion, like, and what are we actually devoted to, and how do we actually determine that? And devotion is also about showing up consistently. It's not necessarily what you do well, but what you do consistently, what you do all the time, what is the inspired action that you're taking, all of this kind of thing, which also has to do with faith. So I don't have all of it fleshed out. It's stuff I'm moving through still. But that's really where I'm at. And also with the death, because I feel like death is a part of it. It could be entirely separate. But I've been thinking of death so much less, because I used to call it the greatest transformer, or like it's a transitional thing, you know, it's the greatest alchemy. But I've been really just looking at it as a different part of being. Like it is a part of life. It's not like it's not this thing that happens, but it's like the next phase, you know. We first, you're with with your baby on your mom's breasts, and then you eat solid food, and then you die. Like it's like, it kind of just goes like that. And I've also been thinking about grief and loss as ephemeral beings, spiritual beings having a physical experience, how shocking and jarring loss is for us. And how grief and loss, well, loss maybe isn't a forever thing, but I feel like grief is, because it's the processing of the loss. So you're always still adjusting. And a lot of grief and loss has happened with me in my family, for sure. But then I don't know, it's something around like surrendering to a lot of those things, but also remaining open to possibilities. That's like really at the heart of it. But this is all just raw thoughts that I've been thinking about.
Love it. I can definitely see where this is going. And I even just typed out a working title: Death and Devotion, Grieving to Heal Connection with Family, Faith, and Self. Because it really feels like you've got this kind of spot on, not kind of, you've got this spot on understanding of how chaos is a disruptor and destroyer. And when we start to accept that those things are a part of everything, how you do one thing is how you do everything, then being able to accept disruption and destruction of our old selves via, dismantling religious beliefs or dismantling family values that are no longer things that you value or the whole place value in. That can be not just a practice in being able to let go, but can be a devotion to the divinity within yourself, because we cannot really live in divinity if we are only seeing light, if it's positive vibes only, if we're only doing, if we are only taking on the parts that, help us live, laugh, love. But, what about, cry, shit, and die? Like we have to allow ourselves to have those things if we are to be, like you identify as, a whole person. So I see the vision. I love that. Do you have any ideas for the kind of I guess for you, I would see some kind of video recording as a resource, because that's kind of what I see from you a lot. Do you have any ideas for what that might look or feel like for you?
It's been challenge. So reading The Body Keeps Score with Kellyanne, and now somatic healing being so much more in my life too. I want there to be a physical element. And I also do recognize that I am, like, Gary talks is the whole thing, so talking is a part of that. I don't know the thing. So something I've done in the past, I've held funerals before, like a mock funeral, and that has been awesome, and people really enjoy it. I was doing it for a while for white supremacy, like just saying goodbye to things. So I've also wanted to teach people how to hold their own funerals. So that's a potential thing, or like something like maybe, because I've also been, the course I'm thinking of creating for Inner Child is like, I'm not sure if it's going to be live yet, or if it's going to be me reading segments with the person. So as though I was holding the workshop with them personally, so they can do it on their own time, but they get the interface with me. So maybe guiding somebody through their own process in that way. Or even maybe like getting ready for a funeral, because there's a lot of things that you got to do before the actual funeral. So I don't know. Something with using death as a processing tool, like maybe as a because I love making worksheets. So it could maybe even look like a mock form of like who died and the cause of death and all these things, and make it like because I just love, what would that even be, like imaginary things but real. Yeah.
So you're saying like there's a possibility for guiding others to create their own eulogy for whatever it is that they need to let die. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm into that. Okay. Anybody have anything to reflect for Gary?
I mean, I'm here for all of it. I love it. Of course, a Scorpio would be a death doula. It just makes sense. I have a newer friend in Circle through retreats. She came and that's her goal. She's not there yet. She's not doing the course or certification. I'm not sure what it's called, but that's her vision. And she too is a Scorpio. So I love it. Definitely need more gentle guidance, I know, in that part of life, right? And I think similar to like the resource that you're sharing, I'm just thinking also maybe the idea of like, just the grievance process, like maybe the mock funeral is cool, and then just be like, this is a way to grieve could be cool. Because I do feel like people really miss, that's like an emotion that I think a lot of people, like have a hard time processing through. Grief is like a huge one that like just gets like scanned over, and then it's just always bubbling to the surface, like.
Yes.
So I think this grief as an emotion could be a really workshopping that. And I said the book earlier, and I think that just in what you're sharing and speaking on specifically with family, I think you would really enjoy the book How We Show Up by Mia Birdsong. It's really powerful, and it talks about breaking away from nuclear family as a way. Well, it's other ways of community, but nuclear family was like a premise of how isolating nuclear family can be for us. So I think you'd enjoy the read, just side note.
Thank you.
But I'm excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, this sounds awesome. I really feel that this like celebration of death and destruction is part of owning and integrating the divine chaos within, right? Destroyer archetype, and even like goddess Kali, and that it's an indivisible part of the creation cycle, that we get the divine inspiration and that divine lead, we go into the action and the doing, and we bring it to fruition, and then inevitably the other half is that letting it decay and be fertile soil for that new beginning, taking that leap into the void in the in-between, where we're releasing this old before we are welcoming in the new. But that is that there's so much magic in that, and that again reminds me of Kellyanne's like embracing the void, embracing the liminal spaces, the in-between, but specifically through your lens, the death and destruction, and also like what came up for me also was when you were about the funeral, having a funeral either for like the parts of ourselves that that are needing maybe for our old self, or for the or a funeral for the attachments that we've had. Maybe that even includes our attachment to our own previous identity, attachment to our personality construct, attachment to all of these labels that we put on ourselves that limit and confine us. And then that also can bring in like the non-binary piece as well of like freeing, what would it be like to free yourself from these attachments to a particular construct that's just been conditioned. And even like, because so Anna Dea Judith talks about attachment being the wound of the crown chakra, because it disconnects you from spirit. When it disconnects you from your ability to surrender to the flow of life. So that would block our ability to access our power and our inner chaos. So I feel like that's all very cool too. And then I love that you're bringing it in with the inner child and the family, all of that. And I feel like all of that's really relevant, like parts work, shadow work, the inner children, right? The every facet of us at every age, and all of that. So, and also that like the family has a fixed view of who they think we are often, based on who we were as children, or, you know, and so that sometimes honoring other people's pain and grief over the agony and loss for their attachment to who they think we are, making space for who we actually are and who we want to step into and continue to evolve into every day. So yeah, exactly what Kellyanne said too. Yeah, I love it. I think this is awesome. I'm super excited to see what you put together. And even like also the attachment, like death of attachment that you've had to go through to be able to do van life, right? Because it is consistently like, how can I release attachment to this stuff? How can I release attachment to my location? How can I release attachment to like having to be present with family and friends every second? You know, just all of that is really feels like juicy stuff to pull from. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That I love also, the way you tied in van life, because that is actually, that's why I feel like it's been very natural, but it's all, I've said so goodbye to a lot of things, just things, because can't carry all that stuff with you.
Yeah, and loss, like giving ourselves permission and space to feel the grief of loss is such powerful, necessary medicine. And I love the funeral ideas too. Oh, wow, love a ritual.
Yeah, funerals for everything. I'm just like seeing it.
Yeah. I was doing that for a while, like once a month, and it was pretty fruitful. We would also do a sigil at the end. So it was just a real crazy time. Like I remember actually, as we were talking just now, I realized I was like, I might be to blame. I mean, not just me single-handedly, but I might be to blame for a lot of the world falling apart, because I was avidly asking for the death of white supremacy for a long time, which is also the first time I got the imagery of somebody saying, let's not talk about destroy, and like eliminate, but what does it look like to break it down so that it can become like a caterpillar goo to turn into the butterfly type of thing. Yeah.
Hot.
Right, like the tower card.
Yeah, I'm also a 7 life path, so the tower is my life. And the chariot. So thank y'all so much. Thank you. I was feeling crazy prior to this. Like, I don't even know what to do with all this stuff. I've just been what I've been sitting in, but thank you. Makes so much more sense.
Yes. Love this for everybody. So yeah, just to kind of wrap up, you don't need to know exactly what you're doing yet. We are still in the, gooey squishy figuring it out phase. But there is going to be a deadline for doing your workshop with me. So one of the other requirements and commitments for this role is to schedule your workshop with me so that we can do a run through. You can feel really good about having already spoken through it and working out some of the kinks. And I would love to also be able to give you some feedback on, here are some places where I think you can pause and let other people, marinate. And, this is where we can tighten this idea up, that kind of thing. So would love to make sure that that is scheduled and that we have done that. I think before is it the 22nd? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Because I know I have it here. Okay, can y'all see this? Can y'all see my screen now? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the date by which we need to have run through the workshop, y'all's workshops together, and you've submitted your resource is by June 22nd. So that is, a distance from now. But that doesn't mean, wait. Just be sure that you're, giving yourself ample time to not only give the workshop with me, but also to take some of the feedback and to take some of your own learning curves and, water bend them into your workshops. I have this as a resource for y'all. I will be sending you this calendar. It essentially breaks down what I was telling y'all about, which is that we are going to be launching something, and for it to be successful, we have to go through the phase of building our audience, a pre-launch, kind of hinting at what we're doing, and then the actual launch phase, which only lasts about a week, where we are going to be committed to the selling. I have broken things down a little bit here, so you'll see that later. And I have also broken things down in this space. So I will be sending you the timeline for everything. There are suggested periods and windows for how to focus on telling the story of creating this course together and what you are learning through it and the transformation. Like, the first thing that I would love for us to start doing after this point is start talking from a personal perspective about this new thing that you can't really, talk a whole lot about it yet, but you're very excited to be a part of it. That's coming soon. Mention what you're learning about for yourself and talk explicitly about the transformation that you are seeing in your life, as well as clients' lives as you apply it. So I definitely suggest if there is a way to start finding applications for this, even if that's just talking about it more with the people in your life and communicating on through your social feeds. Just had this conversation with a friend about grieving the other day, and this is what I want to get into with y'all. That would be great. And then I give more of a timeline that looks like the one that I just showed you with, I can't get this thing to get out of my face. There we go. So I give a bit of a timeline that looks like the pink to orange to, more pink and, all of this. I give a little bit more of a timeline And like I said, I'll be breaking that down in an email to all of you. But then there is also this other marketing part that I want to share, because while we are going through the building audience phases and the pre-launch phases, I want y'all to have answers to every possible question. And please ask more questions if you have any. If anybody asks you something that you don't know the answer to, then please just say, I'm gonna, get back to you on that, and defer to the collective, defer to me and the group, because I would really love for us to just all be on the same page. And that's why I wanted to do the workshopping of our workshops together, so we can hear what each other is working on, and also get excited about each other's workshops. So we're not just selling from a place of, well, I know what I'm doing. We can, give that offering from a place of like, this is how awesome this like Chelsea's thing is going to be, that I'm so stoked for. And I can't wait to hear I'm so glad that I'm a speaker in this, because I can't wait to be a part of Hava's, that I get to heal through this. I can't wait. So I wanted to make sure that, we are all a part of this together, and that you all have, like I said, the answers to all of these questions. So the building audience phase, there are several suggestions for how to do that, and I will be sending that to you all. I really want to focus on the pre-launch phase, because this is where I've got the bulk of information that you can tune into now, and maybe even apply it to what your own audience resonates with. So I've got a whole paragraph on the ideal client for this course, which includes, they've been feeling stagnant in a life they know they don't really want, and petrified at the thought of changing, need to be able to release control and allow themselves to surrender to change that will take them higher. They have savings that they are willing and happy to use to invest in this course, feeling within them a spark of initiative, of a turning point where and when they start to make different decisions, because they know they can't live a different life if they don't start doing things differently. Know that while they are scared, they are also excited, and that is the perfect combination of emotions to tell them that this is important and will be worthwhile. Our ideal client for this course is open to degendered representations of spirituality, practice race and gender equity, self-education and intentionality, support BIPOC, are willing to start having more difficult conversations with themselves and others if it means they get to evolve into the person they sense they could become, love nature and would like to connect with it more, are aware of toxic order conditioning, and are enthusiastic about deconditioning and doing inner child work, even if they're not sure what that means yet. Feel good for everybody? Yeah. So I've also got like what the ideal client for this is excited about, which is an external force that drives them, and what they are enthusiastic about, which is an internal force that drives them. I've spoken on why and how we are experts and authorities, and why we need to be showing up as experts and authorities so that we can build confidence within others to trust us, to create confidence within them. And then here is like the biggest part. What do ideal clients need to know before they buy? This, I've just compiled a ton of questions and just started answering. So how is being out of sync with chaos hurting me right now? That's probably like the biggest first question that people need answered. So I've got just a ton of responses here, which you are welcome to use as content. This is the purpose here, is so that you have this resource to come back to and tune into to answer, what am I paying for? Personal and adaptable ways to embody the magic of chaos, and whatever the universe throws at you so you can handle anything with grace and ease. Live and recorded workshops that include short lectures, activities, and Q&As. Resources such as journaling prompts, recorded meditations, et cetera, okay? So I've tried to lay everything out as explicitly as possible. Will I be able to afford this? How often do I have to show up? What if this isn't right for me? What if I'm not as ready as I think I am? How will this align with my values? How do I benefit / how will this help me? Is this BIPOC, queer, and non-binary friendly? What is involved step by step? How will I be able to apply this to my life? Will I continue to be supported after this course is finished? What is my return on investment? Who am I learning from? And what are the teaching styles? Okay, so I've gone through all of this, okay? And I really would love for you all to tune into it when you get a chance so that you can feel really, really clear on what this offering is, and so that you can use literally verbatim, if you want, any and all of the stuff that I have written, so that you can essentially copy and paste into an Instagram or a Facebook or an email post, anything, and just start giving it your own personal flavor. Start putting your own personal textures and colors to it so that people can start to understand. You may overthink everything to the point of indecision, delay, or procrastination. Okay, so y'all raise your hand if you've experienced this. Okay, we all resonate. How about that shit? Okay, this is why, you know, I wanted to make sure that this is very, very clear and out in the open right from the get-go as you are building an audience, who you are manifesting, who you are magnetizing to bring in, who want to and are able to pay for this, and can clearly see and understand the value that they are going to get from it. I also have points for the launch, speaking to the exact transformation that this offer provides and the ideal clients' areas of growth. So I'm also going to be finishing that up and supplying that at a later time. But for now, I'm just going to share the building audience and pre-launch information because it's already quite a lot, and would love for y'all to tune into that within the next 2 weeks. Because if we look at the launch calendar, what you're going to see is that our building an audience phase ends next month, at the end of next month. Okay. I'm getting all of this information from, oh, and I don't have it up anymore. I will send this to you as well. I got how to launch and pre-launch and what timing and what exactly needs to be rendered in those phases from a webinar I did a few years ago that I kept the slides, the PDF of the slides, and just came and broke it completely down for all of us to use. So this calendar is basically a successful launch reverse engineered. And I share this with you all to let you know it's here if you want to use it, and you can do things your own way as long as you are, you know, intentionally talking about what you are bringing to this course and marketing in your own way. Then, you know, you can do as you like. But this is something that is tried and true. I can't remember who it is. It's like Girl Boss or something like that did this webinar. Like, it's like a big, huge brand that did this webinar. And I broke it down so that we all are, you know, have access to and ease of access to everything that's going to make this, because like I said, I want us to get our 2 sparks. You know, I want each person to not only feel like at the time that we launch and we say we are selling tickets, that you feel not only comfortable with the information, but confident in sharing it and knowing that you know, you've got at least 20 people who are interested in it. And if 10% of those people actually pay for it, then that is a solid 2 people that you bring into this. Like, that's my goal, is even if the building audience phase, you know, brings in 20 new followers or 20 new people to your email list or 20 new people or whatever, that is exactly the amount of people that you need to sell 2 tickets. If you want to sell 5 tickets, shoot for 50 to 60 people. Okay. This is the kind of thing that I want you all to know and have access to, so that you can feel like, oh, I haven't just like, you know, done my own thing, and now that it's time to sell this, nobody knows what I'm doing and nobody knows where this came from. This needs to be something that people can see you building into and excited about, and also confident coming from a place of authority about. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the chat. I haven't even max students for the course. Currently 22. That's the number that I'm feeling really good about, because I feel like that's kind of like the amount that you can hold in like a Zoom, live Zoom space, where maybe if only half of the people show up, then, you know, you've got a good number where everybody feels like they can get a word in without feeling congested. But if we go over 22, I'm not going to say no. You know what I'm saying? So we're shooting for 22. That's our goal number. The day before your birthday. Okay. Okay. Oh yes, my organization. Yeah. It'd be like that, y'all. I need this. My Virgo moon needs this to feel really good about everything. And then the real work happens in applying it and coming back to this resource every week, so I'm not forgetting that I've already done the work, and I don't have to go and try and pull shit out of the air or out of my ass. I just come back to this resource and I intuitively go, and I put my finger on, I spin the wheel and I put my finger on the thing, the topic that I need to talk about for today, for the right person to, you know, hear what they need to hear today. And then the next day I do the same thing. Like, this is, you know, gotta have the follow through too. So far, I know that I just poured a lot into the space. How are y'all feeling? Do you have any questions?
I'm excited.
Cool.
Me too. This is awesome and very helpful.
Yeah, it feels really clear and followable.
Sweet, love that. So next steps from here.
Can we share IG handles so I can, like, if and when the stories start popping, I can start tagging all the others who are involved? Yeah, so I can be here.
Yeah, I was gonna say next steps from here would be to lean into the build audience phase, find a freebie that you would like to offer that feels really true and authentic and unique to you, that is like clickbait, like people want this thing and need this thing right now, and you offer it in exchange for getting on the email list, where you know you can start to tally the number of people who are interested in your work and are interested in getting closer to you and building a more intimate relationship with your work and the work that you do. As well as I would love for all of us to start mixing it up with each other and maybe doing like live streams where we're talking about specific topics that are related to how chaos has affected us in our lives, building up to this, so that we can just start to, again, like practice having those conversations as well as letting people know that this is what we're building into. Thank you, Chelsea. I would like to know if a WhatsApp group with the 5 of us feels good for y'all. Yes. Okay, cool. So I will start that today, and that way, if we want to do any more, just following up on communications and like giving you bite-sized pieces of information and like reminders can happen in that space. I really don't intend it to be a place where we're like doing a whole lot of workshopping unless somebody really needs like a, you know, a group and community effort. But I feel like we've already kind of done that and had a lot of that. So mainly I would love to do like big communications via email and like short term, like for the week ahead, let's focus on these kinds of things, communications in the WhatsApp group. I would love for in the next 2.5 weeks, so by Mother's Day, let's say, try to have read through the marketing materials and timeline just so you're familiar. You don't really have to be quite as familiar with the timeline because like I said, I will be keeping everybody abreast of, you know, what's expected next. But just by Mother's Day, I'll be checking in about that. So let me add that to my things to do. Check in by Mama's Day about marketing material. And in the meantime, let me know how you're doing with your workshop. If you would like to workshop the title of your workshop, you know, come and bring that into this space. And like I said, it would be better sooner rather than later to, once you have written and practiced your workshop and you are ready to get feedback from me on it, schedule that with me so that we can have that all done and we feel good by June 22nd, because June 22nd, we're going to be switching into pre-launch mode and to selling mode. So that's not going to be the time to be, you know, trying to spin a bunch of plates at once. I would love for us to be able to do one thing at a time and feel really good and to build. So we all feel, you know, very stable doing this. Okay, how does that feel for everybody? Any other questions based on what I just said? Nope, feeling good? Feeling swifty? Get swifty. If anybody else has seen Rick and Morty, I'm pretty sure you have, Gary. Yes, could see on your face you got that right away. All right, cool. So I believe we're finished here. Let's take one nice deep collective breath so we can close out the space and move on with the rest of our Sundays. So go ahead and exhale everything out of your body as deeply as you can. One deep inhale through the nose, filling up your stomach, your lungs, expanding your chest, raising your shoulders, raising your vibration, and exhale with a noise. Okay, let's get it going, y'all.
Ciao. Happy Sunday. See y'all soon.
Bye,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Love y'all. See you in the
Love
WhatsApp
y'all.
group.
Bye.
Thank you.